everyone. This is Glenda Dawson, and I have Moongirl here with me, and you're watching the Paranormal Dolls.
Yeah.
Hi, dear lady. How are you today?
Great. How are you?
Doing fantastic. And we have a fantastic guest who has decided to welcome us back. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you. We love you too. Taryn, how are
Hello.
you?
Yeah.
Good. How are you, you beautiful ladies?
Uh,
Thank you so much for having me on again. You guys were so awesome the last time, and I'm just happy that you asked me to come back. I love hanging out with you guys.
yeah.
Yeah. Yes, we want to talk to you about wrong turn people again. No. That's the only reason why we're having you on, so you can talk about wrong turn. That's what the show is about. No.
Wrong turn.
So, for the audience members that do not know who you are, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Let's see. I started in the paranormal stuff in probably 2004. I'm gonna say I was always interested. I was always an enthusiast as I was little and growing up, but I was also afraid of it, so I wanted nothing to do with it. Um, I would read the books, scary stories to tell in the dark. I'd look up ghost stories and this and that, and I loved like unsolved mysteries and all kinds of stuff like that. But I never wanted to really find out if it was true or not, But it, kind of scared me. Um, we I'm told we grew up in a haunted house, and yes, stuff had happened in that house. But it's funny and odd, and I don't know why the brain works this way. But you know, even when stuff would happen, it was like you forgot about it. We didn't think about it. We didn't talk about it. It was like it happened, and then we just forgot about it. And even like when I started to train to be an investigator, which wasn't until probably 2011. I didn't realize exactly what, even though I knew, it's weird. I can't explain it. I knew what was, I don't know if I fully understood at that time what was really happening. Even though I knew it was strange and odd, the stuff that would happen, I didn't look at it like it was paranormal stuff. I just was like, wow, that was weird. And forget about it because you couldn't explain it. So after I started training with, I started out with, I started watching Ghost Hunters. That's what started to get me a little bit more into it. Let me backtrack, and I'll try to be quick because I know I can talk.
We want you to talk.
Yeah, we want you to talk.
So like as a kid, I've always been interested in it, right? And then, sadly, in 2000, my father died. And at that point, I didn't really look to the paranormal side of things. It was more on I was looking for, I didn't know what I was looking for. I just know I needed something. So I went to every denomination of church you could think of. And non-religious things, I was looking for some guidance because that was the biggest tragedy of my life. Right. So I needed something because when he first passed, for the first 2 weeks, I was drinking very heavily. I was smoking marijuana very heavily. I was not going to work. I didn't go to work for almost 2 weeks. It was devastating.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I can't keep doing this. You know what I mean? My dad would kick my ass if he was here. Right. So that's when I started to try to, find I went to every type of church you could think of, every type. And it's weird. I landed with a Catholic church, because when I went in there, they had a band. The father had an earring in his ear. And to me, it was like, wow, this is, they had, drums and a guitarist and a singer, it wasn't like the traditional setting you would walk into with the Catholic church. And I said, okay, and I basically, the first time I went in, I pulled the father aside. I said, listen, father, like this whole thing ain't me, but I'm trying to find myself. So I don't know where I'm supposed to be. Even if it is here, I don't know. He kind of took me under his wing after that. And not that he pressured or anything like that. He just kind of was a guide for me to try to figure out what I wanted to figure out. It was helpful, you know? So anyway, there's a reason I'm telling you this. So I was flipping through channels one night and I come across, I don't know if you guys know of or remember John Edwards Crossing Over. He had a show on TV called Crossing Over. This is new to me, right? And I'm watching this and I loved it. I saw him connecting people with family, and it was I saw these people's reactions, and in a way it was kind of therapy for me, because I was like, okay, this means that he could still be around me, right?
Mm-hmm.
I struggled with it, the possibility. So I went to the father, and I said, look, I'm watching this show and I'm starting to look into this kind of stuff. I was like, is this something that's real? Like, can this really happen? Can people really connect with your loved ones that pass away? And he's like, I'll say this. He said to me, nobody ever says that they verbally spoken to God. It was always through dreams or visions or, this and that. He's like, so, if we go on the Catholic there, like we're all made in God's image and we're all this and that, and they believe, we wouldn't be able to handle hearing God's voice, right? So, he said if he says he's talking to them, then I would be less quick to believe it. He's like, but if he's saying like, oh, he's showing me this or he's showing me that, and he's getting signs and he's hearing and signs and seeing things, he's like, then I'd say go ahead and continue the path, right? But be careful, right? Because there's frauds everywhere, which we are running. But anyway, so I digress. So I stuck with the Catholic Church for a little bit, and then things came to question that you don't question when you go through this process when you're little, because I did go through the process to get my Holy Communion, and I did all that, and I take classes, but I had a lot of questions as an adult, and a lot of the questions were unable to be answered. And I know that is a religion that's based off of faith, right? But you're talking to somebody that the world was just shattered 6 months prior, right? And and unfortunately, I learned some things surrounding that with the Catholic, because my stepmother was Catholic and my dad was a non-practicing Catholic. But anyways, there was a couple of things that occurred when he died that I was still the defensive daughter, so like my stepmother couldn't receive communion the entire time she was married to my dad, because he was married to my mom previously and had 2 kids with her. So because it made me feel like I was a bad thing, because why couldn't she, or my dad was, because she was not allowed to receive the body of Christ, is what they call it, because she's married to somebody that was previously married with children. And I thought that was horrible. I am not trying to disrespect anybody's religion, but by all means, this is just my personal journey through it, and I really got offended by that part of it. Also, I learned that they, acknowledge annulments with marriages, and if you have children, then those children become bastard children. And to me, that was another thing that I just didn't agree with. So, and there were a few other things. Anyways, I am now I become a non-practicing Catholic because I hadn't found anything else at this point. So anyways, I continue to follow John Edwards, and I start to do, and then I start to, Ghost Hunters come out. That's what did it for me when I started to kind of do the switch to the paranormal side of things. And not switch. I wasn't trying to be like a psychic medium or anything, but that was part of I had 12 years of therapy from my dad's death, and mediums were a part of that process. And I know there's a lot of skeptics and a lot of people out there that don't believe in mediums and stuff like that. But I will say this, whether or not it's true, they helped me through my grieving process, because to me, it felt real. The connections that I made with my father and the connections I made with other people, so it definitely helped. Anyways, so I started watching Ghost Hunters, love it. And a lot of people around me were like, how can you watch that show? They never find anything. And I'm like, sure, it's not like not every, you know what I mean? Like everywhere you go is going to be haunted, like, as we learn later on, so, but I loved it. And I was a faithful fan of ghost hunters for their, even now to this day, I love them guys. And, so I started to do that again. Still, I wanted nothing to do with it. My mom one day says to me, this is in 2007 now, you want to go to Gettysburg with me? I'm like, no, what is in Gettysburg? I don't even know about Gettysburg, right? She's like, come on, I can't find anybody else to go with me. And I'm like, fine. Grudgingly drags me to Gettysburg. Not only did I find this place to be my happy place, my home, my heaven on earth, just from that first visit, fell in love with it. But that was where I had my first, what I knew was to be a paranormal experience. Because like I said, my mom's house, that was stuff weird happened there. But at that time, I didn't know what was going on. Now I'm like, okay. That was crazy. And I actually had 2 experiences there that weekend. And then I was like, that wasn't so bad. I've been afraid of it this whole time. And that really wasn't that bad. So then I started doing the amateur thing where I didn't know anything what I was doing. I got a recorder because that's what ghost hunters did on TV, and I was doing stuff that I thought they would do. I had my little sister and her boyfriend at the time. We would literally Atzion Cemetery in Atzion, we would go to that cemetery and Batstow Cemetery. And we would be running around the cemetery, not knowing what they were doing. And like trying to, conjure up spirits to talk to.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Ignorance is bliss, because I'm telling you, I look back and I'm like, how am I not a demon right now? Like, I don't even know how I'm even not even, you know what I mean? Like the stuff I used to do because I didn't know any better.
Right.
So then the more I started doing it, I started looking on the internet for stuff. And then in my area, there was a place called the Ghost Hunter Store. So I went there. The guy that owned the store, I'll acknowledge, Dave Giuliano, he owned the store. And he also, I found out from going in there that he ran a group called South Jersey Ghost Research. So there was a couple of times I gone in, he's like, come on, you enjoy my group. And when he wasn't around, the people that worked at the store was also part of his group, but they like, like some people would be like, oh, he's just a big, tough teddy bear, like going through this process. Because the training for his group was 3 months long. Mm-hmm. There was field training. There were written tests. There was, the training I got, I will say I'm so happy I got, because I utilize the stuff I learned with him to this day, because I believe in a lot of the stuff that he taught. You know what I mean? I believe in that. And it just feels right to me, because when you're around other people and they do things differently, not saying that it's wrong, but for me, it doesn't feel right. You know what I mean? So what I learned from him, with that being said, I am open to all types of investigating. You know what I mean? It's just me personally wouldn't be my, if I was heading an investigation, wouldn't be my way to go. But if I do it with other people, I'm like, okay, this is cool. I'll try this. I'll try anything. So anyway, I eventually wound up joining his group. And I was there for a while. I wound up being the co-director of it eventually. And it was a busy, big group. We were busy, and we were at events every weekend. The Halloween season, we did lectures at libraries every night of the week. We had events every weekend for a whole new locations that we've already investigated, where we just, the public would come in. And when I say events, they weren't just investigations. They were, people would come in. We had a system, like people would come in and they'd stop at one station, and it was like they would watch something about the history and talk to some of the investigators about equipment. And then they would go in 20, 25 minutes, they'd move to the next session. Right. And in there would be people, either maybe the equipment was separate. So it was like one part was this, and then you'd move in here and it was the equipment. And then the last part would be, we would show the evidence that we got in a video. We would show from that location, and then let everybody ask questions. So it was like a Q&A. Then they got to free roam and walk around on the property. There were vendors. So we did a big thing, and we did that every weekend in the holiday season, Halloween season. Anyways, so it was a busy group, and we had probably about 30 people.
It's a good group.
It was. We had, just Caspers, and we had red flags. So we had a special team that dealt with anything that was not in the green Casper. This little guy. And knowing me, you would probably say that you already know that I would tell them. So we had this thing where questionnaires would come in. We would put them in a category. We'd have somebody look over them. An experienced investigator that's been there for a couple of years. It would either be a green flag, aka Casper, or a yellow flag would be like, just a whatever. And then we'd have red flag. Red flag would be something that this one right here wants nothing to do with. And I've said that from day one. I would tell them, like, I don't want anything of pinkish hue coming in. Keep it. I like Casper Slimer. Yes, maybe. That's like the extent. Slimer, but Casper is what I like. So we had a special response team, which private cases, I will say, is one of my most favorite things to do as an investigator. I love helping people. And all of my cases have been successful. And I'm not saying that to sound conceited or anything like that, but whether we had to do an investigation or not, or, because I say successful, I use that in the wrong sentence. Successful to me is not having to do an investigation. If you can help a family without going into their home and disrupting it and doing all this stuff, and that's like a win-win. If you can help them understand and maybe feel more comfortable, that's a win. I mean, there's clients I have that I still check on, and I haven't done that in so long, but I still have these people, that I check on. But they've all ended in a good way. You know what I mean? And I that's my most favorite thing to do. So with South Jersey Ghost Road, that was the same thing. We had private cases every weekend. We had events every, not during the Halloween season. We had events, but not as often. So that was a little bit, but we had events. We would have lectures here and there, but mostly it was private cases. And we had a lot coming in. And I'm surprised there isn't still that. You don't hear about it that much anymore. All you hear about is the TVs and the YouTubes and events and paracons, and you don't hear about all the private cases. You don't hear about the private stuff anymore. When I was doing it, that's all you would hear about. Because it's about investigating, and it was about helping people. It wasn't about, oh my God, can I get on TV? How many subscribers can I get? And it wasn't about that. It wasn't about money. When you do private cases, if you are an honest, good investigator, you're not charging people for private homes. So you're not making money doing that either. So it wasn't about that. Times have changed. And, now I would still do private cases if they came my way, but, now it's more, it's a lot about the public locations and the locations and raising money, which is still great. I am all for raising money for preservation. And I love that too. I love doing that. If I can help a place and be a part of that place's history by helping them raise money, I'm all for it, because I love historical sites. I love history.
Right.
So yes, I'm all for that. And then you have, the Paracons, they're great too, because that's where you network. That's where you meet people. That's where people like us who do shows,
right.
That's beneficial. I just wish people would
I think that right now it's sad to say, but it's become a very toxic community. Everybody's very desperate to be famous, to have a bunch of followers. Everyone's really catty with each other. It's become not a place I enjoy much. I miss how it was before.
Yeah. I mean, it's unfortunate, right? Because
Yeah.
there's good investigators out there and researchers and people, and no matter what aspect or avenue you are in this, you know, if you're a legit and true person in this field, you know, and your passion, like I say this all the time, who wouldn't want to make money? This is my dream job to be able to do
Yeah.
paranormal all the time. It's my dream job.
Mhm.
Who wouldn't want to make money doing what they love? Absolutely.
Mhm.
But that want would never come before my integrity or my friendships ever,
Mhm.
ever. So I'm not willing to do the things that some people do. I'm not saying everybody, but to get that status or get that those numbers, because it's just not how I'm built, right? So, and I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that because, like I said, money isn't my motivation. Like
Yeah.
reaching people and hoping somebody watches my show or sees my investigation or sees something, and talk about Paranormal Brew, watches my show and learns something or gets something from it. I get those messages where like, oh my God, your show's great tonight. Thank you so much. I learned this, or I can relate to this. And me, that's like worth $1 million.
Mhm.
Yes,
You know,
it is. Yeah.
and my integrity, I will never fake anything. I will never lie about anything. I won't ever do it just for the clicks and the likes and the subscribe. Like there's nothing that you couldn't pay me enough. I won't do it. My integrity is more to me than anything.
And there's a lot of that going on right now, especially.
Well, and people
Then-
talk, right? People
Mhm.
talk, they talk and they, you never know what anybody's motivations are, so you got to be careful, you just got to be careful, especially right now. I'm hoping that eventually, this will, maybe this is, they always say things get worse before they get better, I'm hoping that there's going to be a breaking point because like you said, there's a lot of people that are starting to get discouraged, and and they're the good ones because they want to do the research, they want to present, evidential data, and they want to do the researches, or they want to just, or they just want to have fun ghost hunting, no matter if they catch something or they don't catch something.
Right.
You have those people out there, which I love those people.
That's why I basically been doing private investigations, or what I call remediations, which is what you did, basically try to help the homeowners come to some understanding. I would go into the house and talk to the other side and kind of see, okay, can we come to an agreement here?
Yeah.
Can we both sides live peacefully?
Yeah.
And what can each side do to help the other understand where they're at?
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So,
no, yeah. And that's the thing. Like, that's what I was saying. I know I have ADHD, so I was like, because, Sarah, you brought up that good point about, you're discouraged, and that hurts my heart.
Well, I've had a lot of people come to me, they've messaged me or called me, friends and other people that I know, how they are really, honestly, really disgusted with the paranormal field and the metaphysical field. And you're 100% right. There's a lot of people faking evidence, claiming to get possessed every time they go to an event, doing a lot of research on the location, and then saying it's a channeled message. And, the real people, they are discouraged and they are sad and they're just honestly disgusted by it all and want to leave because they feel like this is a joke now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and it has become a joke for a lot of us, I think.
All that stuff is overshadowing the passionate people for this. And it is discouraging. And there's been a couple of times where I'm like, you know what? Is this even like worth it? And for me, it is a passion for me, and I'm willing to stick it out as long as I can. And with hopes that it gets better. I hope it gets better. I hope that the bad weeds itself out and they don't do too much damage on the way out. There has been a lot of damage done, and get fixed, I think about all the OGs of the field, and they're so right. They're just like, wow, this wasn't how it was, and a lot of social media has a lot to do with it, having that, but what I was saying was it's not just like paranormal investigators and psychic mediums or metaphysical people, or everybody that's plays a part in this field, because it's all under one big umbrella. At the end of the day, it's all under one big umbrella. Even location owners. I mean, if anybody plays a part in this at any way, they should be mad too, because even locations are starting to lie about stuff. And it's like why? It to me is like, so I mean, anybody that play like legit location owners should be mad, because people are going to question every location.
Yep.
If they have experience and they don't know any better, right? I mean, you have the pop-up psychic meetings, you have the pop-up locations, you have the pop-up events, you have the pop-up, like all these people just bum rushing in, and you're like, whoa. You know what I mean? Like, let's just take a deep breath.
Yeah.
But anyway, I don't know where I was. I don't know why the heck we went down that road, but I'm glad we did, because obviously, we were feeling the same, right? I mean, I'm sure a lot of people are.
Yeah.
It's just, when is it? What's it gonna take? You know what I mean? For people just to stay in your lanes, mind your own business.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's what we gotta do.
If you're not in this for the right reasons, then find another hobby and to make money off of. You know what I mean? Like, just go find somewhere else.
Right.
And speaking of hobbies, not that it's a hobby, but you have a new endeavor, Ghosted Magazine. Do you want to tell us about that?
So I was only part of the first issue.
Oh.
Yeah. The first issue came out last October. So, I like to look at it this way now, is that, I help them launch the magazine. And I think they're into they're working on their third issue now. But yes, that was a something good to put on my resume. I did it.
Yeah.
I know I can write an article. I know that I interview people that in that aspect, because with that, it was a different type of an interview. My show, Paranormal Brew, it's a conversation. I'm not putting an A in anybody. With the magazine, it was Q&A, and then I had to format it, and I had to edit it, and I had to do all kinds of stuff, and so now I know I can do that. So it's something that I'm glad that I did the work for. And it's just something that I can say I did.
Something under your belt.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd say more recently, been focusing on my team, Paranormal Peaches, and also the Brew. I'm booked until the first week in June, which is awesome.
Good.
I'm always nervous to book out further, because anything can happen, and you know what I mean. But I had put up a request for locations, because I want to promote the locations that are in this for the right reasons. There's a lot of locations that fly under the radar, much like a lot of the podcasts, or a lot of the good psychic mediums, a lot of that aren't in the limelight, that aren't, because they're doing this for the right reasons, so they're not worried about their subscribers or likes. They're just, either trying to preserve their property and share it with us, and because they know they can make money doing it this way, so that's great. So the legit location owners, the legit psychic mediums, every once in a while you get a doozy,
More than once in a while, girl. Let's be honest.
Once in a while. We'll leave it at once in a while.
Yeah. It's happening. But you try, right? You try to do your research. You try to, you try to, and we're going to slip through the cracks. But for the
can you tell us about your show? Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Can you tell us about your show?
So it's every Wednesday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I do an occasional Sunday if the Wednesdays don't work for my guest, and then if that either works, then I work around them. I have to say I've been blessed with a lot of the people that I've had on my show. Jason Halls, John Zaffis, I mean, even like people from MUFON, parapsychologists, like not just like the big people on TV.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I've had some pretty awesome people on. I mean, from UFOs. I mean, so the show's been on. This April 1st will be 7 years. Yay!
Hey, congratulations!
I know. I'm like, wow, it's going 7 years. Where does it go? When it first started out, it was only on like what do you call? I hate to say radio because it's not radio, but like the internet radio stuff. Like Mixler and Apple and all that stuff. And then I discovered Facebook Live, and we still did it on there. But then we would video every once in a while to do a live video. And at first we didn't have guests; we would just do a round table because that's what we wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
So then we need little by little. The earlier shows are, I don't know how I'm still here. We had a lot of fun, but it's not anything that anybody would watch today. I'll tell you that right now. But we had a lot of fun. And along the way, I had a lot of co-hosts. Mike Brown is the one that created Paranormal Brew with me. And then along the way, we brought in Beth Harper O'Brien. She was with us for a little bit. And then those two, Mike decided he wanted to just stick with the audio. He wasn't into the Facebook and all that stuff. So he said, listen, you keep Paranormal Brew. You do it. You keep doing your thing. I'm going to go start. And his is the Bunker podcast, which is great. So if anybody can check that out, but it's, it's on audio and all. He is on Instagram, I think. But, and then my best friend Sabrina and her boyfriend kind of chimed in for a couple of episodes and then helped out. And now I'm by myself. And you know what, to be honest with you, and nothing against anybody that I've worked with, but I do prefer because I'm so dedicated and passionate. And, I was relying on other people to be there when I could be there, So it just wasn't, unless you're as dedicated, equally as dedicated, it's difficult, So maybe I'm like, I like this. Like I do what I want. And I like that. I mean, there was opportunities. I had an opportunity to sign something with Roku. It was like a paid version of Roku.
Right.
It was a contract, and I read over that. Now, this contract was for my guests, and it was. I don't know how anybody gets anybody to sign that or gets guests that will come on. I mean, it was like you can't fidget, you can't drink anything, you can't like all these like crazy. And I'm like, my show is so relaxed and off the cuff. Like, there's no way am I changing what I love doing the most. One of the things I love doing. Like, I'm not doing it, so I declined. I wasn't going to do it.
That's why I like the Conscious Awakening Network because
do
whatever you want.
Yeah, that's cool. And then there was another time when I was with South Jersey Ghost Research in the Ghost Hunter store. Like there was anybody that watches this and is from there, they can, or from that time, can correct me. But I believe it was I think it was Sci-Fi at the time. I can't remember 100%. They came out and filmed like probably 2 or 3 times. They wanted to have a ghost show based around the Ghost Hunter store because it was also haunted, So they wanted to have some type of a show like that, which sounds great concept, right? But so my boyfriend at the time was kind of joining the group and hanging around, and the director loved him, so he's like, he wanted him to be a part of the show too. Well, they say to me, listen, we're going to pretend like you guys can be yourselves, but let's pretend like you're cheating on him with somebody else that works here, and like to give it some drama, give it some like entertainment, you know what I mean? And I'm like, oh, you got the wrong girl. I was like, no. I'm like, my family, my friends, like people are gonna watch this, you know what I mean? Like, no, I'm good. And I turned that down. The show never went anywhere, but I'm just saying, like without even, because again, my integrity, I can't do it. Yeah. But that was a long time ago. That was probably like 2013, 14, somewhere in that area. Back even then, I was also a producer for Paranormal Straight Talk. That was a radio show back then. That was Dave, Giuliano, and Marty Haynes. They did the show, and I would get the guests on, and I had on, and that kind of like maybe helps me be able to approach people now. Come on, because that's a nerve-wracking thing, when you're messaging people that you don't know how they're gonna act, especially bigger people, bigger the celebrities and stuff. But anyways, back then, I got Ben Hansen on. He was Factor Faked. Gary Golka, he was the one that made the millimeter. I got a lot of good people on, so that was fun. I don't know why I went back there, but I forget where I was going, ladies.
It's okay.
Isn't that insane?
That's okay. I
HD. I'm like, why was I talking about that? Then I forgot what I was talking about.
See, that happens to me a lot too. I'll start talking and then go on about something else. I know somehow it makes sense in my head, but when it's coming out,
and then you realize you're like, what am I talking about? Anyway, so doing my show has become my most. This is like my
baby
consistent thing, and the peaches. I love the Paranormal Peaches. Like, there's a group of 7 of us. We're all best friends, and we do ghosty things together and non-ghosty things together. But mostly, we go to locations and investigate. We love it. It's so much fun together, and I love that. It's not. It's me. I believe. I don't believe everything is a ghost. I don't believe everybody can talk to the dead, and I don't believe every location is haunted. But I do believe that there is out there. So I'm just having fun doing it, and I'm trying to just like keep myself out. Like, I know if somebody's toxic, I just block them. I'm like, I can't. It's
well, here's the freedom of being true to yourself. You don't give a crap. Do you know what I mean? Yep. Like, I don't have to walk on eggshells. It doesn't matter what I do or how many follow, whatever, because I'm me. Yeah. So that's the beauty of just not caring and being authentic to yourself. We're not looking at the numbers. We're not looking at the views or whatever. It's just about going in there, having fun. And luckily, hopefully, we will catch some evidence and put it out there.
Yep, absolutely. And I'll go live here and there on investigations, but that's never because we're having so much fun, to be honest with you. Like, if I went live during our investigations, people are like, what are they doing? Because we're literally, we're investigating, but then something happens where we're cracking up for 15 minutes. You know what I mean? And like joking and making jokes. And, we did 2 investigations this weekend, and we're sitting down there. We got I call her Mama Dana. Dana, she's like the mom of our group. Like, not because she's like older, but she's just. I look at her as like mom. I look at her as mom. And I call her Mama Dana. But anyway, so she was upstairs with somebody, and me and Kim and Jossie are downstairs, and we were laughing a little bit. And they come. Todd, the guy comes down and he goes, "Look, don't shoot the messenger, but I'm told to tell you guys shut the fuck up." Right? So we're like, okay. Well, we're sitting there, and I get scared easily. I scare easily. So we heard this. All of a sudden, we're sitting there talking, and all of a sudden, this big bang happens next to us. And I'm like, screaming at the top of my lungs. Kim throws her phone, and then we're like laughing for like 10 minutes. And we're like, we're going to get in so much trouble. Like, we're thinking from Dana, right? Because I scream. I'm like, look, we have it on record that something fell. You know what I mean? And scared. It was my bag. It fell, but it scared the shit out of me, right? And I'm like, so, and that went on for like 15, 20 minutes. Like, nobody wants to see that live. I get it, so, and then you forget. Then you forget to go live, because then you're like doing other stuff. Except I forget to go live, because that's not my main focus.
Right. Yeah. And sometimes also when I try to go live, the reception is horrible. So I'm like, what's even the point to,
Well, see, and even that distraction takes you away from being in the moment and being like, you know what I mean? Like, you're there to investigate, right? So when you're trying to go live or things are happening, you're worried about the chat and this and that, you know what I mean? Like, to me, it's like a distraction. You're not really in the moment. You know, I'll share evidence after. Like if I get EVPs or something like that, I'll share them. You know what I mean? But you know, if I go live, great. If not, you know, it's not my focus. So yeah, the show is great. I love it. I love myself getting to know people, you know, and learning new things. I learn something every show, and I love that. Yeah. So,
have you or any of your lady friends with the Peaches, have you all ever gotten hurt or touched or something in an investigation?
Never hurt.
Good. Knock on wood, girl.
Yeah, never hurt. We were at, I'll say more recently, we were at Hoover House in January in Waynesboro, Pennsylvania. And me and Megan were upstairs on the second floor where I was sleeping. No, third floor. Sorry, where I was sleeping. It's weird because I was like one of the last ones to get there. And they're like, oh, you got the third floor. I'm like, oh, okay. Totally blissfully unknown that that's the most haunted floor. I was like, I see what you guys did. Threw me to the wolves. I got it. But yeah, so we were up there, and Megan got touched up there, and I know these girls. Like I've known them for a couple of years now, and I know them very inside, and I know them very well. And you know when you know somebody, you can just tell. Like they just experienced something, you know. And she did. I mean, she got scared, freaked out, and we went downstairs, and I was like, okay, I'm not sleeping up there tonight. Okay, I'm sleeping with one of you guys now. Like, so yeah, she got touched. Me, I don't. There's been times where I thought I've gotten touched, but it wasn't significant enough to carry out with that, you know, and tell people that I have. You know, there's been times during the investigation where I go, oh, it feels like somebody touched my butt. Sometimes it feels like somebody touches the front. I had that happen one time where it felt like I got touched, like groped. But I don't know if I really did. You know what I mean? Like you're always get. You know, it felt like that, but I don't know.
So I have a really serious question now. Would you rather get touched by a ghost or wrong turn people? No, just
any day, a ghost.
You could call him when you're sick. You're thinking. I know what you're thinking. You want to say a few words.
Oh yeah, no. I literally, if I came across a wrong turn person, I would kill myself. I'm like, I'll do it for you.
Yes.
Yeah. But I always said, like, well, then they're gonna have, you know, then they're gonna like have sex on my body, and then I'll
eat you afterwards.
Afterwards, I don't care. I don't.
That's it. Everybody's lights goes on the hood.
Yeah.
I don't want to be around for the part before that, so I'm just gonna end it. I'll end it.
Oh no.
I'm serious. We were at Hinsdale, and we were at Hinsdale House, which, by the way, if you've never been, great, awesome location, inside and outside. And I did. I something scared me there too, and but my life flashed before my eyes. I think it was a bear. I swore it was a bear because of how big it was. But the girls disagreed. At first, they thought maybe a deer, but then they stayed outside. I don't know why they stayed outside. When I ran. My equipment flew everywhere. Clutch Clint, a tear came out of my eye, and I ran into the house. I was like, "It's a bear! It's a bear!" They're like, "What?" I was like, George Costanza when the nurse home with the fire. He's pushing the old people. He's like, "Fire! Fire!" I ran over them, and I'm like, "You better." They should have just came with me because I was shit. Somebody sent me something though the other day because there was a YouTube yesterday that they found out that there's been reports of some type of a human creature or something back there. I don't know.
Humanoid?
Yeah, humanoid. Thank you. I don't know if I believe in that. I don't think I do. Not saying it doesn't.
It's not a humanoid. It's just a wrong turn person. You escaped.
That's true. Might not be going to Hinsdale again. But yeah, I mean, so I've been scared, like legit scared. That probably was the only time that I have been like Like, I know I saw something. Like, for me, like, and I'm not trying, I know it's funny, but I'm not trying to be funny. I literally, my butt cheeks clenched so, and it was all involuntary. Like, it happened, and then I could just feel a tear, and I was like, that's a bear. And I just saw my life flash before my eyes. And all I keep thinking about is how you always hear about bears with one swipe can take your head off. I'm like, because it was coming towards us.
Yeah.
You know? And I'm like, a deer wouldn't come towards you. They either stay and run, or, you know, they're not going to walk.
Yeah.
It was like, I saw the eyes, and it's like, and there again, I was like, the fucking thing's come towards us. I was like, I freaked out. You know? So yeah, that's the only time that I've ever really been scared like that. And I don't think any of the other girls have ever been scared like that. They're a little tougher than me, but I was scared.
Well, you know, it helps with the blood circulate.
Yes. I can say I experienced it. I've experienced that. I'm not a psychic medium. I don't want to say I'm clairaudient because I don't hear all the time, but I can hear, responses that do get caught on the recorder and everything, you know, interaction. And I don't see things, but only once in a while. And on vacation, on total vacation, like, I disconnected from, you know, paranormal everything. And we were at our short house, and we go to South Carolina every year. We go to Myrtle Beach. And in the kitchen, there was like it's an open floor plan. The kitchen goes into the living room, and there's a wall that you see the corner like this, and, you know, so you don't see the other side over here. You can just see the outside of the living room. And I look up and I see this. Well, we'll bring up an American Horror Story if you guys saw it. First season, the man that wore the black,
the leather thing.
Yes.
Yes.
That's all. That's how I can explain it. That's what it looked like. It was so black. It was so black, and it had this like yellow, small yellow, like glow around it. It didn't acknowledge. I only saw this for maybe 3 seconds, maybe. It didn't acknowledge either of us. And I remember all I saw was from like here. So I saw the back. I saw this. I saw the butt a little bit. You know what I mean? So it was definitely a form. It was a huge form, but it was black. And interesting was after I saw it go out of sight, the dog came walking in from the living room. And I realized I couldn't hear anything until I could hear again. So like the dog's walking over to me, but I don't hear the nails until the dog got up to me. I could hear the nails. She wasn't affected or anything like that. It wasn't anything. I think she was just coming into the kitchen, you know, but it will happen to be at that time. But like I didn't realize like I couldn't hear anything until she got up to me. And I looked immediately. Like, did you see that? And I was like, never mind. You guys are nobody in my family and nobody around me does anything paranormal. They know I do it. They ask me questions. My brother busts my balls all the time. You know, I put something up, they'll comment spooky, you know, or something like that. They're always busting my chops. And some of them believe, some of them don't, but they're not into it, right? So whenever I'm saying something, I feel like I've got, you know, they're looking at me like I got a big horn sticking out my forehead, you know, like, what are you talking about? Like, so that's really, I saw that, and then I have never seen anything like that again before.
So what do you think that was?
I have no idea. No idea. It definitely, I don't even know if it knew where it was or what it, you know what I mean? Like it literally gave me the impression, like I didn't feel threatened or anything like that. I wasn't scared. And maybe because it happened so fast that I didn't have time to get scared. You know what I mean? Like it just was so fast. You know, I do know that first, we were there 3 days before I saw it. And for those first 3 days, I felt like I was being watched. Or that, I had just like the little butterflies in your stomach where you feel like, just a little uneasy, but not, and I don't want to say anything to anybody because again, every place is haunted. And I'm like, no, so I didn't want to say anything. So I just let it go. But after I saw that and it disappeared, that feeling of being watched went away. Totally went away. So that I do remember from it. Is that after that I never felt that feeling of being watched again. So that was definitely interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is there any public event that's coming up for you?
Or investigation that you're going to do?
Yeah. So we have, so the next one we're doing is White Hill Mansion.
Mhm.
That's in Fieldsboro, New Jersey. And then we're going to, probably going to butcher this because I do all the time. Sweet Escapes, New York. Sweet Estates,
Yes.
New York. I always say Escapes. Sweet Estates in New York. We have that. And then what is this? I have a cruise in May, which I can't wait for. Italy.
Hey.
Ooh, good for you.
I've never gone on a cruise. I'm jelly. I want to go.
Yeah, that's going to be my vacation. I'm going to Pompeii and the Vatican.
Wow.
So that'll be cool. And I'm looking very forward to that. So the Peaches will be at Pennhurst Paracon. That's a big event coming up. And then we have Peaches are doing a public thing at Fort Mifflin in Philly in June. Then the Gettysburg Bash in July. That's in GB. We're also getting into a place called Captain's Grant's Inn, and that is in Connecticut. I think Ghost Hunters was there. But we're going to be getting there. We just don't know the date yet. That's a good exclusive location on that. Selma Mansion Psychic Fair in September, and then November we have the New Jersey Paragon. And I feel like there's other investigations in there I'm missing. But we have a lot.
Nice.
Exciting.
Yes.
Most importantly, my birthday this weekend.
Yeah,
happy birthday. Pisces season. I love Pisces.
Yes. Are you a March Pisces?
I'm an Aqua Pisces cusper.
Okay, gotcha.
I'm February 18th. So the last day, technically Pisces, Aqua Pisces cusper, yeah.
We'll take you. You're a Pisces. Pisces are fun. I can't wait. So I celebrate my birthday all month long. So but it starts out in Gettysburg. I do a birthday bar crawl. So some of my Peaches will be there this week and or this weekend and stuff. So it'll be fun. And like I said, I'm booked out for my show till June. Nice. So this Wednesday, tomorrow, actually, I have Wraith Chasers coming on. So that'll be awesome. Yeah, I love those guys. So I'm glad to have them on. So yeah, it's getting to be a good, and we're looking at other locations and trying to set some stuff up. So
sounds like
traveling is always fun.
I forgot we are actually doing. Is that not in my calendar? Oh, it is. The Pennsylvania Bigfoot camping adventure.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so that's going to be a new one for us because everything's always been ghosty or metaphysical. We're going to be doing this. We're going on a Bigfoot hike Friday night. It's all weekend long, and they actually have Ronnie LeBlanc from and it's getting put on by Eric Waltman, who Pennsylvania Bigfoot Society. And they're gonna have they show you how to make the impression. You take the plaster and make the food. Yeah. There's workshops for it. They have lectures all weekend, so it's gonna be cool, something different. So
yeah, fun.
Looking forward to that. That sounds like it's gonna be fun. So yeah, we rented a cabin and we're gonna be Bigfoot hunting all weekend. I don't know.
Well, let us know if you see any big feet, Bigfoot. That'd be cool.
And for anybody that is paying attention and wants a question, in a big group setting like that, I'm fine in the woods. When there's a lot of activity going on.
Okay, well now you need to tell us if you find Bigfoot or wrong turn people in the woods. Okay.
So I had Eric on, and I said, I got a question when we're on this hike. If we get scared, can we run? Just curious. I'm known to do that. And he's like, you can't run. And I'm like, I can. You should see me. I've done it.
Oh boy. Well, it's coming to the end of the show.
Yes.
And thank you for being here again. Yes.
Well, we can find her.
We're going to put that all under the description, so it'd be easier for people to hit the link.
Yeah.
Because they don't catch it on.
Yeah. That's fine.
So thank you again. Thank you.
You guys are great.
Send us don't wait for one of us to contact you.
That's true. You know what? You guys got to come on my show.
Yeah, we'd love to.
We said that the last time, and then we never scheduled something. Sarah, let's schedule it, And
yeah, for sure. You let me know. You can message me whenever you want.
Yeah, because I also do it Sunday nights. You know what I mean? So we could always just do a spooky Sunday and just get together for an hour and drink some wine and talk spooky stuff.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, everyone. And as always, many blessings. And we love you. Bye.
That's always, yeah.